Today, I will be speaking to Christopher Syrus, a personal development coach who will be sharing with us the challenges that he had to overcome to get to where he is. Welcome, Syrus.
Thank you for having me.
Christopher Syrus.
Blessings. Appreciate you, opening up your platform, interviewing me. Power of mouth, powerful. Yeah, happy to be here. Thank you.
Awesome to have you here. Okay, so I just want you to just tell the Power Mouth viewers what exactly it is that you do.
Okay, so as you said, personal development coach.
Yes.
My passion is personal development. When we're talking about visualization, affirmation, goal setting, mindset, how the subconscious works. I was taught some of this information quite late in my 20s when I was going through some hurdles. But what was powerful is when it was taught to me is I was already putting those things into play, into action. So I was already visualizing when they taught me it was called visualization. I was already affirming before they told me it was called affirmation. So when the information came to me, I was like, I know this works, I'm living this, and I want to share it with other people. So primarily my audience is young people at risk of violence, at risk of criminal behavior, but I also work with business owners and adults as well. So that's one of my passions. My other passion, as you can see, we're here in the music studio. The other way that I engage, particularly with young people, is through music. It's through creative writing, through the creative arts, as a self-therapy. So those are my two, main skill sets that I share as a coach, and I enjoy it. It's my purpose.
Wow. Now that is quite a bit that you do. So I think it's safe to say that you are a social entrepreneur.
Absolutely.
Which is fantastic. You did mention about some hurdles that you had to overcome. Okay, because this is what today's show is about. It's about the challenges that you had to overcome to get to where you are today, which I believe most people would say is very successful. So could you share with us some of those hurdles?
All right, so I think the first hurdle I would refer to is self-esteem. So I grew up with a high self-esteem. I grew up believing that I was capable, believing that I could be the captain of the basketball team. I was a top set student. I had good interpersonal skills with males, with females, with teachers, whoever. I had a high self-esteem. I didn't prepare for my exams, failed my exams completely, and kind of felt lost in terms of where I'm going to be going from 16, 17, 18, into my 20s as an adult, and how I visualize myself as an adult. So the vision that I had for myself as a university student, someone that was, expert in IT, which was one of the fields I wanted to go into, that vision started to change, and I started to kind of feel lost in what I wanted to do, where I wanted to go. And at that point, I became more susceptible to what was going on around me. So I may have seen, older people around me that were driving nice cars, that were getting involved in certain things. And I was drawn to that. And I actually made a conscious decision that I want to live some of that. I want to be on the roads, as it were, and get involved in drugs and get involved in crime and get involved in certain activities. So the hurdle was self-esteem. That just created certain decisions. As we know, when you plant the seed, it grows. There's consequences for action. So my consequences for those life choices was I ended up in Kingston Crown Court and was sentenced to a 10-year prison sentence for my involvement in crime. And that is where, a couple of things happened. First of all, what happened is I found my why. So my why is to make mum proud, because she was in the courtroom wailing, weeping, upset that her son's just being taken away. And when I got my sentence and when I was found guilty, and I had my mum in the courtroom, my focus was actually on her and wasn't on myself. So they're taking me away, but I'm looking at her and I'm saying, it's gonna be all right. It's gonna be all right. Because I'm only focused on what it's doing to her. So I didn't feel sorry for myself, if that makes sense. I felt more determined to make right. It wasn't about me in a strange way. And I know I did sleep well the first night, and I know she didn't. My twin sister didn't. So that was my why. My why is I've got to make my family proud. I've got to make up for what I've done. That very first night, I was fortunate enough to go into a cell by myself. So you get this little time because, you know, prison is tough. Being with a cellmate you don't know is tough. So my very first night, I've got the cell to myself. I've got my thoughts. I'm choosing though at the top bunk or the bottom bunk. I've got time to think and choosing space. I'm laying in the top bunk and now I'm reasoning with God, and I'm contemplating my choices, contemplating my life, contemplating 5 years being in here. I'm in Wandsworth prison. I know it's 23-hour bang up. So I'm contemplating what it means to be here, how I got there, trying to envision how I'm going to spend the next 5 years in this place. And in my meditation, what I realized is I made these choices, and the message I got was there's going to be many people, young people in particular, that are going to make the same mistakes because they don't believe in themselves, because they don't believe they've got a future. They're going to make the same mistakes. They're going to end up in the same place as you. And what I want you to do is to prevent that. I want you to be part of the solution around that, using this experience, using your testimony. So I had a purpose and a why.
Amen. Amen.
From early. This is, 2004. I'm 24 years of age, and up until then I was lost, but now on my first day in prison, I've got a purpose and I've got a why.
So could I just interject there? So you talked about, you were in the cell and in your cell and, you were just meditating to the Most High. Is that something that you would usually do, or did you find that as soon as you entered into that cell, you realized, you know what, I need to call on a higher help?
Yeah.
That was the time when you just kind of surrendered it to God.
So I've always had that connection. I've always, believed in something greater, just in nature, and just understanding that there's energy, there's a creator. But I think sometimes it's in times of need that you really step in or tap in, as it were.
Yes.
When you're going about your day to day, and you're making decisions off your own back, and you're not really tapping in like that, then you can get lost. So with that time, with that environment, it made it a lot easier, because I needed to tap in. I needed something. My mind, I'm locked up. So it was easier for me to connect. It was easier for me to listen, to be open, and to hear. And as I said, it was. I think it was unusual in such a full place for me to have a space by myself.
I really do believe that sometimes God will get us in a place by ourselves, away from people and that environment that, we are, in, so that he can actually have his time with us and actually speak to us, because like you said, there is purpose to our lives. So, that is a great thing about having faith and about being able to hear what God is saying. So I can hear that you are really passionate about what you do. Before I go into anything, I do know that you do poetry. Yeah, which is fantastic. I have seen some of it. I have done my research. Yes. So I've seen some of it. And I saw that you had a book as well, of poetry.
That's right. Yeah.
Yes, and it was called Love Life, if you could.
So Love Life 6958.
Yes.
Which was created from the prison number LL 6958. Wow. And that name meant something because I was receiving letters at one point, and I remember there was a letter that didn't have my number on it. So the LL6958 is my prison number. It didn't have my number on it. It had my name on it. And the officer, in giving me the letter, said to me to ensure that my number was on the letter in the future. Like, forget your name. What I need to see is the number. So basically, you are no longer Christopher Syrus. You are LL6958. You're a statistic. You're a number. So I felt. So when it came to me, Love Life 6958, it was like, I'm going to rebrand this whole thing. I'm going to turn this whole thing around. I'm going to turn this negative into positive, and that's going to represent that. So the poetry book's called Love Life 6958, Memoirs from the Pen. And that's just a play on words in terms of memoirs from the actual pen and the penitentiary American, term for prison. And it is a collection of poems I wrote while in the cell, with no intention other than to self-therapy, get what's in my head out on paper, what's in my heart out on paper. So it will have Mum crying in the courtroom. It will have Strip Search. It will have 23-hour bang up. It will have not having a birthday, not having a Christmas. It will, the first time on the exercise yard. It has all of my experiences, thoughts throughout those 5 years. It was mainly the first 2 years, I think, that I was really writing. And when I came out, again, it was like, okay, I know I'm going to work with young people. I know I'm going to share this message. And it just came to me, you've got a folder full of poems. What better way to express the reality of your choices than poems about your choices?
In such a beautiful way as well.
Yeah, so I put it in a book, self-published a book, and then toured schools, back into prisons for free, just sharing the poems. And that was the start of the business in 2009.
But you've actually done more than that, because you do writing workshops, I believe.
So creative writing workshops, yeah. And that's how it developed. So it started with me going in, sharing some poems, doing a talk. Then it was like, okay, how do I extend this? So let me teach you how to write. Let me assist you in doing your own creative writing, so you can talk about your story. And then 3 or 4 years later, it's okay, let's have a studio where we can record you, that what you've written. So it all develops. It's all, organic in a sense. There's a plan, there's a rough idea, but things come to me as I'm going, and there's an organic growth and journey that I've been on.
That's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. So what would you say is the things, or just if you could name 2 things that get you out of bed, that inspire you to get out of bed?
So it is the vision. It is the vision of what I'm doing. So I know I want to buy my mum a house in Jamaica. I know, there's certain things that I personally want for myself that I get up and I work for. I know I've got legacy. I know I've got family. I know I've got kids.
Come on now. Yes.
So I'm driven. I enjoy my work. So I'm driven to do a great job, to provide value. I'm driven to be financially free. I'm driven to make others learn how to be financially free.
Yes.
So it's just living with excitement, living with purpose, living with, why can't I be the absolute best version of myself and make the most out of this temporary experience. We're not here forever, so let's make the most out of this.
And most people watching, I mean, it sounds great and it's very motivational, but what about the times? Do you ever get times where some days you wake up and think, what, this is just
it's daily.
Yeah,
it's daily. So I'm someone who will listen to Les Brown, Eric Thomas, T.D. Jakes, Miles Monroe. Like, I will listen to them daily. It's the mind is something that, as a muscle that needs exercising daily. Activation.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you allow it to grow weeds and to fester, then it will, that's what will happen. But if you're on it on a regular basis, you're working out, you're doing exercise, you're setting goals, you're achieving goals, you re-motivate yourself every day. You're excited by the victory log, the things you've achieved.
Come on now.
So all of these things, the purpose where it's not just about you. So I've got to turn up for this young person. This young person's at risk. There's a rapport with us. This young person's engaging with me. I've got to get up and go and support this young person. So there's always something. I haven't really got time to wallow and to get in that place.
Yes,
I'm in a place of gratitude.
Amen.
Because I'm here, because I have.
Absolutely.
So that's my energy and the space that I stay at more time. And obviously things happen and you get down a bit and whatever, but majority of the time I'm in a place of excitement, doing, grateful, because I've got a lot to be grateful for.
You really do have a lot to be grateful for. And with Power Mouth, we're all about speaking things into existence.
Yeah.
You know, if you think it, believe it, you will receive it. You know, and I know that you are a firm believer of affirmations as well. So could you tell us a bit more about that?
All right. So one of the first things, and our visualization and affirmation are very similar. One is just speaking, one is just seeing in your mind. I do favor visualization, if I'm honest, but it's important to speak it as well. One of my first, experiences was visualizing and affirming that I'm going to be in an open prison. So I'm in a closed prison, which is Wandsworth, which is 23-hour behind the door. So you get out for a little exercise, you get out to have a shower, phone call, but most of the time you're behind the door. I'm here for 5 years. I know that if I behave, if I do well, I can be in a better scenario where I can go home for the weekends, where I can go college, where I can study. So I'm visualizing and I'm affirming and writing down I will be in an open prison.
Come on now.
Within the next 3 years.
Yes.
I've written to the prison I want to go to let them know I'm applying. It's early, but I'm letting you know this is where I want to be. And just being guided, I'm saying I want to work with young people. I'm visualizing working with young people. An Open University book comes to me. I don't even know how this information comes to me. I'm flicking through it. I see the core psychology. I've actually always wanted to study psychology. It's outside of computers. The mind and why people do what they do interests me. Yes. So I sign up for the course. I apply for funding for the course. They say yes, they give me the funding. So now I'm in myself studying, like I'm doing a psychology degree in myself. Awesome. I get to call home and say, Mum, I'm at university. Like I'm starting to make you proud. I'm starting to become what you would have wanted me to become. So that whole energy of seeing it, saying it, and saying it as it is, so when we do affirmations, you say it in the present tense. So I'm excitedly, happily, financially free. I'm proudly driving this. I'm excitedly opening the door to this. And I've been doing this for several years and manifested things that I've wanted. And that continues. It's daily, it's yearly, it continues. So I've got a fresh vision board for 2022. I know the places I want to travel, I know the things that I want to do. Nice. And again, these things keep you motivated. You're growing or dying. And when you've got something that you're working towards, it means you have to grow, it means you have to develop. So I'm consistently in a place of growth. And want to be consistently in a place of growth and learning.
That is awesome. That is awesome. And I really do need to, I've been saying for years about my vision board. I have written it down, but like you, I'm a visual person. I like to see things visually. So I need to just get those pictures up there because I know what I want as well.
Yes.
I do know what I want, and it needs to be, I need to continue to speak it into being because, it will manifest. It will absolutely manifest. Okay. So why is your passion to see change so important to you?
Why is my passion to see change so important to me?
You have got this drive, you have got this passion to see change in the youth. And I know that you said that because, you've been inside prison before, but what else drives you? What is it?
I mean, we're talking about the youth. I've got a son who's, 12. I'm in Croydon. There's been 2 murders in Croydon in the last couple of months of young people under the age of 16. So it's like a pandemic. It's horrible. It's just So whatever reason why I've got that purpose, whatever reason why I want to work with young people, it's in me, and it's obviously bigger than me. Some of the young people I'm working with are seriously at risk in terms of people want to harm them. They may want to harm others. They may carry weapons. They may be vulnerable to county lines. If I can help them, if I can be an example, if I can plant a seed, and they can not end up dead, they can end up not in prison, they can end up in college or run their own business or whatever it is, if I can play a part in that, then I absolutely want to do that. That feels good to me. That gives me something to wake up for. So it's bigger than me,
Yeah.
and it drives me. Yeah.
So what would one of your sessions look like if, I mean, would it be like a group of youths or do you do like one-to-one? And if they were to come to you, what would that session look like?
So there's several different ways that we do it. So we've got group sessions, we call it Aspire Higher program. And two of us will go into a prison, into a school, into a setting, and we'll share personal development tools. We make them understand or share with them what self-esteem is, what having a purpose is. Let's ask the question, do you know what your purpose is? Have you got any goals? How do you write goals? So we teach personal development. The business partner of mine, Nathaniel Pete, we deliver that nationally. If they're coming to me in the studio, it will be looking at creative writing and providing stimulus, ideas. Let's talk about what it is to be a male. Let's talk about relationship with dad. Let's talk about what you've experienced. Oh, you were stop and searched. Okay, let's talk about that experience. You're involved in certain lifestyles. Why do you think you're involved in that? Just using the creative writing as a counseling, therapy, discussion point to challenge, to encourage. Because once you can kind of challenge yourself and question yourself and make decisions, and you're not on autopilot anymore. Because, as you said earlier, I know what I want. Some people don't know what they want. I know where I want to go. Some people don't know where they want to go. Some people don't know why they do what it is they do. So to be asked a question. And when they're free writing, then they're connecting to something higher, whether they know it or not.
Yeah.
And when they're examining what they've done and asking themselves why, they're examining their subconscious beliefs. So that's when the personal development comes into it. So I can teach you, maybe you don't believe in yourself because someone told you wasn't good. Someone told you wasn't, or maybe you're seeing yourself presented in a certain way and you believe you have to be like that. But do you have to be like that? Is there another way? And you just keep throwing in questions.
So that's what I was going to ask you. How is it initially received? I mean, we're talking about youths here, and you're coming talking to them about purpose. And like you said, most of them, they don't know their purpose. How is it received? Do they kind of feel silly or are they shy?
So our job is to make them feel comfortable. Our job is to make them feel excited. Testimony is a powerful engagement tool. Once I share what I've been through, it's like, okay, let me listen to what you're saying because I might be on that path. So let me hear you out. The studio's, good because it's an engagement tool.
Yes,
young people like music. They want to write songs.
Yeah.
So it's just, allowing them to do what they enjoy. And then it's looking at, okay, if you enjoy a certain type of genre of music and you enjoy glamorizing certain lifestyles, well, let's explore it, express it, get it off your chest, but now let's explore it. And learning comes and growth comes.
Okay, so I know that, in what you do, you may see a lot of low things, like, bad things happening. And thank God that you are here as a role model, as you are to help the youth. But there must be some good times. Have there been any highlights in 2021 specifically that you can tell us about that you are quite proud of, or it was really quite life-changing for you to see?
We had an amazing moment December, just last month. I'm part of a project called My Ends, and they were doing an event at Fairfield Halls.
Right.
So one of my young people just gone through, a bereavement of his mum. He's been writing with me, working with me, doing creative writing. He's wrote a song, a very deep song, touching on losing his mum, touching on some of the struggles in terms of police, in terms of being young, black in Croydon. Just a lot of stuff he said in the song. He's never really been on a massive stage. Fairfield Halls is a massive stage, several hundred, if not thousand. And he shared his rap in front of that audience. But what was most powerful was that his dad was right in the front with a camera, videoing him and responding. As he said lines, was like, yeah, it was like, that's my son. And when he finished, he fell into his dad's arms off of the stage. And I know they had a real bond, a real connection, a real moment. And I know that their communication isn't always that great, just from things I know. But that embrace meant everything. You know, it meant that I hear you. It means I'm there for you. It means, you know, so just to see that connection, and to provide that stage and that opportunity, you know, it's life changing. And it's just to continue to follow up on that, and to keep letting that young person know that you've got a voice. People want to hear your voice. You're powerful, and to use, you know, his voice in a powerful way, and to keep using the arts as a way to express what's going on. Because, you know, young people go through trauma. They go through, you know, different things. So yeah, that for me was very recent, and was a powerful moment that reignites my passion and flame, you know, to keep going.
What is beautiful is the work that you're doing as a mentor, and I love to see my brothers, you know, out in the community, mentoring young boys, youths, because often it is known that there isn't the father figure that is around. So, you know, when you did see, you know, something like that, such as a son and the father embracing, that was something special.
Definitely.
So, my next question is, do you believe that there are any positive changes that we as a community should commit to?
Yeah, so like I said, My Ends is a great project because it's got many community social enterprises, organizations working together. So we meet on a regular basis, and we talk about what we're doing and how we can make change. We're connected with the police, we're connected with governors, councillors, you know, it's a holistic approach, because we need the NHS, we need the police, we need everyone to be on the same page, working together. So so that for me is a commitment. The commitment has to be to work together, so that
Unity.
there has to be,
Yeah.
because otherwise one hand doesn't know what the other hand is doing. We're all invested in the youth. We have to be, in our community, we have to be, in our businesses, we have to be. So all of the different parts need to come together so that we can fund stuff, support stuff, create stuff, and we know what's needed. So the youth need to be part of that circle as well, to say, this is what I need, this is the problems, this is why this is happening, and we need to be listening to each other, sharing our ideas and our thoughts with each other, and hopefully that will move us forward and help us to progress.
Amen. And what is the future vision? What do you see in regards to all of this that you are doing? Because there's a number of things that you're doing. We have the Aspire Higher, and we have the workshops as well, the creative writing workshops. I think the Aspire High is when you go into the schools and you, so there's many different things that you do. And talk to me about your latest project that you've been doing. Is
Respect the Game.
Yes,
RTG.
Respect the Game. Come on.
So this is again an added layer onto what we're doing. So if you're going to be here, you're going to be doing music. Why don't we put out your songs on Spotify, on Apple Music?
That is
Why
so
don't
cool.
we do
Cool.
a music video? Why don't we do an event to celebrate you? So it's all just how we can build on what we're already doing. So that project is, it's on YouTube now, RTG Media TV. We've recorded season 1. We're looking to record season 2 now. And it is just getting young talent to perform, to share. We want messages that are going to inspire other young people. So we're particularly looking for certain types of messages. And we're supporting young people to put out a professional song, to get their PRS, to know the music business side of it. And their voices is what's going to impact. So we want young people that can speak to other young people, so that there is, peer-to-peer learning, peer-to-peer mentoring. And just great celebration, great events, big events where people can come out, people can have a stage, share to their family, share to the community. That's what I see, big events, and people feeling empowered, because that's what happens. When you get a stage and you get to share your talent, and your voice is heard, you're empowered, and we want young people empowered. And
I love the positivity, because you are providing a space, you're providing a platform for youth to showcase their talent, because
Absolutely.
our children and youth, they have so much talent, but they just, sometimes they're not even aware of the talent that they have, and then it just goes wasted. They're just probably hanging out somewhere where they shouldn't be hanging out. But you have created something that they can come and really tune into their giftings and their talents, and they grow with it as well. And that is a beautiful thing. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
And also congratulations on the awards that you've won, because I know that you have been a recipient of quite a few awards, if I can look into my notes. So you had, in 2009, it was the Patron Mothers Against Guns. In 2011, it was the Peace Award. In 2017, the British Empire Medal, and the Greater London Enterprise Awards, and just recently, 2021, the Best Youth Creative Writing Services.
I'll give you a round of applause.
I need to give you a round of applause. That is brilliant. I mean, seriously, I mean, you know, the work that you do within the community, it must inspire other men to want to join in as well. Just seeing the fruit that is produced from, you know, from what you do.
I mean, there's quite a few, and there's more coming now, of men stepping up and saying, I want to help. I want to be part of the solution. We've got Mentivity. We've got what they call PY for E. There's, you know, Milk Tray. There's a few in Croydon that I'm closely working with now. Anthony King. You know, I'm loving the energy and the individuals that are stepping up. Bigger organisation like Crystal Palace, BME Forum. There's so many that are wanting to be role models, wanting to show a better way, wanting to share their experiences, and bringing to the table whatever it is their skill set is, whether it's football, whether it's DJing, whether it's just mentoring and speaking, you know, really bringing their skill set and giving their time, because young people need time. They want your time, they want your ear, and that's what's happening. You
know what? The beauty of role models is that it's not somebody that comes that is perfect, because there's nothing such as perfection, but it's somebody that has been through something that is able to teach others where not to go wrong, or if they are in a situation, how to help them get over that hurdle, which is beautiful. So it doesn't deny anybody from saying, you know what, I want to come and mentor children, as long as they have got the vision for greatness, and that's where they want to stir the children in, and they provide a safe space for children and for youth, then, you know, I believe that's good enough.
So what we know is people that have, you know, been through the experiences are the best people to do the work. So it could be someone that's had issue with drugs. They're going to be, once they've overcome it, they've got the blueprint to help someone who's on drugs, someone who's dealt with alcohol. They're the best person to deal with someone who's struggling with alcohol, because their empathy is at a different level. You know, there's empathy where I can put myself in your shoes, and there's empathy where I've walked in your shoes and got to the other end, and the language is going to be different. So I speak about mum crying in the courtroom because I know that's the trigger for young people. Like, I'm doing what I'm doing, but I do feel bad that mum's upset. Like, these are triggers. These are, you know, you wouldn't know that unless you've been through it. You know, you wouldn't know, you know, some of the things that helps, and the things that, and how long it takes, and the fact, as you said, it might not happen right the first time. You know, so it's okay to be on the right path, slip up, and then get back on the right path. You know, I've got a brother who's doing great work now, but was in prison several times. So sometimes we don't get it right the first time, and that's all right as well.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. So, you know, like I said, great work that you're doing, and we've talked about the awards, but what are the most treasured gifts in your life?
My children.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah, my heartbeats, my children, that's what gives me most joy. I was with them just doing temping bowling, and the littlest one's 5, and she's climbing up the wall thing, and I can do it, and getting all the way to the top. That's what it's about. Those are the moments that I cherish. Seeing their faces and spending time with them. So yeah, my children definitely.
And they get the best of both worlds. I mean, they have you as daddy, and I know that you are mentoring them through their life as well.
This is what I'm saying. The 5-year-old is like, I'm not going to quit because this is the conversations that we have.
Yes.
So it's absolutely, they're definitely getting all of that. They won't be able to say I can't, because they've been taught from very young. We don't use that.
That's right. We find Come on a way. Now.
So yeah.
I love it. I love it, and I've seen the pictures of your beautiful princess.
I love that.
So I knew the answer, but of course I have to ask.
Of course. Yeah.
So on closing, what would you say to our Power Mouth guests to, encourage them? Especially any viewers that are struggling with their identity or with their purpose in life right now, what encouragement would you give to them?
I would say don't be afraid to do what you're called to do. Have confidence and know that it will take time to develop the expertise maybe, but if you've got a passion for it, if you've got a calling for it, then just one step at a time, make it organic, but keep walking in that path. Whether it is, I want to be a presenter, I want to do a podcast, whether it is, I want to be a teacher, whether it is, whatever it is that you think about often. And there may be periods where, you don't think about it because you're in the grind, but then it keeps coming back to you. And it might mean you need to go back to education. It might mean you need to start again, but whatever it means, it is much better to have lived a life that you're proud of, that you done what you wanted to do, what you was meant to do, rather than getting to an age of regret. Like I always wanted to experience and do that, but I never did. Oh. That's not a nice place to be, and it's never too late. Mm-hmm. There's many people of an advanced age that start businesses, that do things and become really successful. So I would say, enjoy it. Do what it is you feel you're supposed to be doing, and even if it's not financial, even if it, I started giving away, the book, giving away the services. There's a fulfillment you feel when you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, and my encouragement is do that.
That is a great encouragement. And you know what? You are speaking my language, because I always say the one thing that I do not want to do, or I wouldn't want for any other person, is to grow old in regret.
Yeah.
And then those bitter feelings just come because you didn't set out and achieve what you possibly could have achieved.
Yeah. And it's the journey. It's not even achieving it. It's the journey.
Yeah.
The fact that I learned and I was on the journey, it is because there's always a new goal. There's always a higher level to go to. So it's not the destination, it's the journey. I was on the journey. That's it. I was on the journey. And as long as you can say that, then that's good for me anyway.
Awesome. So I think that the lesson we're taking away today is that you need to keep on in your journey. It's so important, and those times that you want to give up, you need to just continue on in your journey. And yes, I know that, there may be times where you might get fearful, but, you need to push that aside and you need to continue on. It's not a competition. Your journey is your journey. Another person's journey is their journey. What is important is that you take that journey and that you get to where you need to get to, and that you enjoy life. So in that, Christopher Syrus, thank you so much for coming on the Power Mouth Show. You are an exquisite power mouth.
Thank you. I like the word exquisite. Nice word.
And I just thank you for your time. And thank you, a heartwarm thank you for all that you are doing in the community, because you are making a change. You definitely are. So thank you, and bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for watching Power Mouth. Take care.